Hey guys, what's up? It's Jules here for WhatCulture.com, joined by my son Ewan and Ewan's stepdad Adam Cleary. We'll discuss that later. We've just been to see Deadpool last night, and it was at least 3 laughs. So what we're going to do today is have a little bit of a square table discussion about the film, about the positives, the negatives, the in-betweens, and the secret cameos that lair in between. Lay in between?
I know what you mean.
Yeah, they know what I mean. It's very early in the morning. Yeah. Sorry about that. So, anyway, let's kick things off. What did you think of Deadpool 2?
Are we doing spoilers?
Yes. Spoiler alert
that's
now.
why you're here.
There's the siren that's somewhere.
Yeah. So don't complain down in the comment section below if you are not expecting this to be spoiled. We have just warned you.
It's your fault now.
Yeah, it's your fault. You take responsibility from this point out. Anyway, so what do you guys think of Deadpool 2 then?
I really liked it. It was... I'd go so far as to say it was the perfect superhero film to see after we've all just been so immersed in Infinity War. Like, it reminds you that it doesn't have to be like a big deal, doesn't have to be perfect, the continuity hasn't got to be all lining up, you haven't got to be watching for all the bits of foreshadowing. You go to the cinema and have a bloody good time watching superheroes do superhero stuff.
Yeah, kind of like dumb fun. It's kind of like the mint sorbet to cleanse your palate after the big meaty flanks that Thanos slapped you with.
Yes, that's exactly it. It's like a nice little sorbet.
I mean, like, in terms of the presentation of the film, there was a lot going on, and the one thing that I did notice is, even though this has a much higher budget, that was definitely clear because of the amount of extra actors they would put in. Did anyone else find that the CGI was actually maybe worse in this one than the first film?
There was one bit when it's Domino.
Yeah.
That looked a bit weird. But
it looks like the stuff that you would get on your sort of mobile as a sort of like overlay.
But the rest of it, I thought it was really cool. I thought it was really well handled. I think maybe the budget all went on getting those X-Men actors to come.
We'll get to the cameos.
Yeah, I mean, like, so we'll just set up the story very quickly. So we've got Deadpool is going to... It starts by trying to kill this guy. He comes back, kills his wife. He has a big sort of remorseful and hates life and wants to kill himself, but can't because obviously he's got his regenerative powers. All been there. And then he decides that he wants to go... Well, he's forced to join the X-Men as a trainee. Then... hits the fan when he meets a new mutant called Fire Fist.
Flamo Fisto.
He was a young boy, played by
Julian Dennison,
who is a fantastic comedic actor. Ricky Baker.
Once rejected.
What are you on about?
Now accepted. You've seen Hunt for the Wilder People.
No. Oh, sorry. That was, we spoke about that earlier. I was just like, what's he on about? He's just talking out his ass again.
I haven't seen it.
I
heard it's good though.
It is good. It is very good.
You should watch it.
So that's our review of Hunt for the Wilder People.
So then, after those two, the meeting goes south. Deadpool gets sent to a prison for mutants called the Icebox. What else happens?
Where the powers are suppressed. And then Cable appears.
He meets cultural appropriation before that as well.
Yes, cultural appropriation.
Yes. And then he basically... the boy teams up with the Juggernaut, which is a great cameo villain from that.
Assembled in the X-Force as well.
Yeah, well, that's... Wait, is that after?
That's before?
No, because Cable breaks into the prison, tries to kill them, they escape. So he's like, right, I'm going to get the kid. I'm going to save the kid from Cable. So he assembles the X-Force.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But Cable's back from the future because of the fact that he wants to kill the kid because the kid will grow up to be the biggest scourge known to mankind and destroy all of humanity and his family. So what we then have set up is that Cable wants to kill the kid.
Yep.
Deadpool wants to save the kid and kill Cable. And everyone has a happy time.
So basically, in that sense, which they already referenced in the film, is that Cable is the Terminator and Deadpool is Sarah Connor.
They even mention it, so they say, get your hands off that boy, John Connor, which doesn't really make sense in the context of it, because obviously John Connor isn't the person who's sent back in time to...
Oh, did you not see the last Terminator film? Where they really screwed the pooch on the timeline?
What, Jen Ice?
John Connor's the Terminator. And the
Boo!
Oh, yeah. So that's our review of Terminator Genesis.
So yeah, it was a fantastically fun, sort of silly action film.
It's just bloody good fun.
Yes. Is it as good as the first one, though?
It's for me, I liked it more. We were talking before, the first thing we also got out there is there's less jokes, but the jokes that are in it are better.
Yes.
And I think that kind of carries, there's less of everything in it, I think, in a way. Like, there's more money spent, there's more stuff happening, but there's sort of less going on. There's less little stories.
I think it's a little bit more indulgent than the first one. That's only because they have time to mess with the lore, and there's actually a reverence to the source material, like the way they reference Robert Liefeld and like all the other like Deadpool creators and stuff.
There was quite a lot of jokes in this film that we all sat there going, a weird thing to say while Ewan sat there going, ho, ho, ho.
I'm a massive nerd.
Yeah, it was pretty much like the two guys in the Muppet balcony, wasn't it? You just like, whenever we heard that going, we were like, nope, that's one for the nerds. That's out of the park.
Yep.
Hitting it out of the park for the nerds.
I mean, they hit it out of the park. If you're a big, smelly nerd like me, you love this film.
I never switch off you, do you?
No.
If we were to sort of break down the film into its 3 separate acts and compare them to the first one, because obviously people will be doing that, obviously they're putting the two films side by side, have to say that the first act of this film was quite slow. I'd say that the emotional forcing of the sort of like dead wife thing, I was like, fine. I felt like they probably killed her off maybe too early.
I'm going to say that whereas the first film, I think, is fantastic through its first and second acts and kind of falls apart at the end way, this one is the reverse. So you have a really, really slow introductory act, which is kind of just Deadpool doing Deadpool things, which you're already familiar with, Deadpool, Deadpool, Deadpool.
Yeah.
And then you get to the final act, and it's actually, that's where the film really finds its core, and it's really, really good.
I think it's got a really nice, steady trajectory up in terms of like stakes, action, how invested you are, development of the characters. I think it really, it's just a nice cinematic time.
However, that is a great way to, like, I totally agree with you that it ramps up to become a better film than it starts at, but it might put people off to begin with, because I know myself, when I sat there, I was expecting Deadpool to hit this straight away, hit the ground running, tons of jokes, tons of like things, but it was quite slow. And I'm not saying that as a criticism after watching the film, but I'm just saying as a first act, it definitely was the weakest bit.
X-Force don't even come into it until like 45 minutes, an hour in.
Then they're out of it by 55.
Yeah, so we are talking into heavy spoiler territory now, but my gosh, the X-Force the setup to that, the trailers, every single piece of marketing suggests that these guys will be carrying a franchise.
Big superhero team-up movie.
And they are dead within 3 minutes of forming. And
they save Peter in the end in the post-credit scene. Though,
I love the fact that he's the only person they save.
Did they only save him with Shatterstar gets?
Well, you see him saving Peter.
Yeah.
No, because he travels back in time to the point where he's still hung up on the billboard. So that means that everyone else has still died their same way. But he's just
the wind advisory's still in effect.
And he still says to Peter, "Don't look at that." So who dies from X-Force? Because
Shatterstar.
Bedlam, Zeitgeist. Who I popped at that because it's a history joke. He's like, oh, so your power is to put your finger on the walls of society. I throw up acid. And it's like,
okay, fair enough. But the best thing is that when you actually look at all of those...
the Vanisher.
Oh, the Vanisher,
Vanisher.
Played by Brad Pitt.
Yeah, I mean, the cameos that were in this film were actually very impressive, because not only did, as the guys have just said, Brad Pitt come and play the Vanisher, which is a superhero I didn't even know exists, but apparently his power is he's invisible. But they also got a very brief cameo from all of the old X-Men from the alternate universe with the... who was in it? It was Beast, Quicksilver...
Cyclops, Jean Grey, Nightcrawler, I think.
And to be fair,
was James McAvoy not in there?
I couldn't spot him. I think it was implied that he was absent because obviously Deadpool was screwing around on
chair.
the old Cerebro.
It's a great bit that because they mentioned it in the first film. They make that joke about why is it only you two here? It's almost like they can't afford any of the other X-Men. It was like you think after the first film the studio would throw us a bone, and as he's saying that, you see all of them just close the door.
But they're just like, we do not want any part of what's going on here. It's so silly. But that's what this film is. It's like It's basically just tons of in-jokes, cameos, and things like that. It is the beginning shot is of Wolverine impaled on the twig.
The end of Logan. The last shot of Logan.
Yeah. And it's a music box. And that sets up the entire thing, because obviously we know that Deadpool loves/hates Wolverine in this. And the post-credit sequence finally does... what every fan has wanted since... When did X-Men Origins come out? 2009. And when did Green Lantern come out?
2011.
Seriously,
was Green Lantern after Origins?
Yeah, he did not have a good run.
So he was in Blade Trinity, where he played rip-off Deadpool, and then he was in X-Men Origins Wolverine, where he played Deadpool for 5 minutes and then became so on-face.
See, I saw them both, but I didn't see them at the cinema. And just looking at Green Lantern, I assumed that was like 2005, 2006.
No.
Wow.
Yeah, my friends at the time dragged me to see that film, and I was there saying, no, don't take me to Green Lantern. Don't.
And there's our review of Green Lantern. Yeah. so basically, like, the post-credit sequence may be one of my favourites.
I think it's the best. Yes. It's my favourite post-credit scene ever in any film.
I genuinely think, and I kind of want to spoil it.
Yeah, that's all spoilers.
It's a spoiler video.
Yeah, so basically what happens is we get kind of two big payoffs. The first one is using original footage from the X-Men Wolverine Origins film. Logan walks up, his claws extend, and he goes, Wade? And you know that bit when you get to see Deadpool for the first time in X-Men Origins?
See
and
Striker
it's so
Batman, just so your mouth shut or
and it's
something
so
like that.
disappointing because you realise that Ryan Reynolds has a turnip head.
Yes.
And it's like, what is going on? Yeah, but anyway, in this one, Deadpool is standing there and just gets shot on the side of the head by the real Deadpool. He walks in and goes, Hey, hi Logan, and then just
pretend you didn't see that.
and then just like empties the entire clip into the dead body of Deadpool. That was brilliant. And then the second one is Ryan Reynolds as himself looking at the Green
Time to
Lantern.
get in the big leagues.
Yeah, time to get in the big leagues, kid. And then all of a sudden a bullet hole appears in his head and he dies, and it's just absolutely priceless.
You're welcome, Canada.
Yeah, that's what it says. Yeah, it's so good.
It's like X-Men if it was unfiltered, this film.
Yeah.
Just if it could go in on all the stupid references from the 90s and just go in all just throw it everywhere, chuck everything.
Well, exactly. If it wasn't trying to make this, like, because all superhero films try to make this event movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
With this very serious, you've got to invest completely, you've got the emotional weight has to be there. And that is Marvel's biggest criticism, is that it does that and it tries to throw too many jokes in. So you can see what happens when they clash.
Yeah.
So it's right, well, I'll tell you what, let's just throw the emotional weight out the window. And if there is any to be found in the story, it'll be there naturally. At the bit at the end, you're like, oh, God, you can't.
nice,
that was really upsetting,
Yeah.
that end bit.
I think if you look at it, like the first Deadpool film, it's almost like a satire of those pre-MCU films, whereas this is, like you said, it's like the post-Avengers kind of thing. It's like we've got to have the franchise, got to have
build
the
the team up and then just off them in 30 seconds.
So let's talk about our favourite characters that were in there. Obviously, Ryan Reynolds does a fantastic job as Deadpool. I do believe that he was pretty much born to play this role now. He's just really evolved into it. Like, maybe still a little bit corny. I know that he is in the comic books, but I still find that there's a bit of an alienating factor about
the
that.
dubstep jokes, which is a little bit weird. That was a bit older than they think it is.
I tell you what, it's one of those things where you can tell that he's had a hand in writing some of it, and I know that it's the bits that are the dated things. Like, but that's just going to be part of the course. I mean, the amount of jokes that hit was.
I don't mind dubstep.
No, I don't mind dubstep either.
Boost a bit old.
I mean, I did enjoy Cable. Josh Brolin just saying,
Dubstep doesn't die.
"Dubstep's for pussies." That was good. I mean, Josh Brolin was fantastic as Cable,
brilliant.
because he actually shows a completely different side to when he was playing Thanos, even though they are in essence
Has-
both very grim-looking dickheads.
After years and years and years of all the main criticism at the entire superhero phenomenon of the last however many years is that the villains are never really any good.
Yeah.
Like, they're always, because there's so much weight has to be put on heroism
Yeah.
as like a trope of the film. You can't really show off the intricacies or the depth of the villains because ultimately there's no time for that. It's not part of the story. Has Josh Brolin just done the two best villain roles in superhero movies in the space of a month?
Yeah, it does seem like that.
Cable's more of an anti-hero, I think, but
Yeah.
like he does serve that role of antagonist in this, I think.
But I feel like the real villain is obviously meant to be the kid.
The kid?
And I think that Julian, whatever it was.
Julian Dennison.
Julian Dennison. Dennison.
Yeah.
That's our review of New Zealand names.
Jen Ice.
Jen Ice.
So basically, like, he is the villain of the piece, and he is fantastic because he's not a villain. There isn't actually a real villain apart from the Juggernaut, who is a stock villain, and he's kind of dealt with quite differently.
It's actually kind of lots of nuance to it. Think about it. There's a whole conversation about inherent evil versus kind of environmental evil.
Well, actually, the actual villain is
the guy, the really awful radical.
He was on Sunday Brunch this weekend, right? And I got out and I was watching it, and they were like, "Oh, you're here to promote your new movie." It's Eddie Marsden, I think his name is.
Yeah, that's it.
So you're here to promote your new movie. I was like, "Oh, I like Eddie Marsden.
Yeah.
I'll definitely check out his new film." I was like, well, it's the sequel to Deadpool, and I'm like, "Oh,"
What?
I was like, "Oh, that's funny." He's out there, and it actually was promoted.
Yeah,
He's like, I can't talk about my role because apparently that's a spoiler. I can't talk about my character. Apparently that's a spoiler. But I can talk about anything else that's not to do with me.
I think the best thing about that character is that they go for the whole. At the end, they have the really cliched, "Oh, don't kill him. You'll just be as bad as he is." Despite the fact that he is objectively the worst piece of shit person in this film. And then Taxi Driver Lad just comes in and creams him at the end. I was so happy that happened. Thank you, whoever wrote that in, because I'm sick of that kind of story where it's like, "Oh, you're better than him."
His character, Eddie's character, basically was of a headmaster who saw mutants as an abomination, and it took on a very kind of, I will not say which religion, but there is a definite skew of Bible bashing people that can be as zealotous as that, I will
Yes,
say.
yeah.
And it was definitely
Really unspecific there to mention the Bible.
I know.
Yeah.
I kind of went. I was gonna puss it out for it, but then I thought, no, let's go full in. It's not critiquing all people of that thing. It's just that there is a definite mindset of intolerance and.
It makes sense in the context of the X-Men being born from the civil rights movement, and then it's almost this is more of a modern metaphor in a way. I kind of
They make that joke, don't they?
Yeah, you're an outdated
you used an outdated metaphor for racial segregation in the 1960s.
Yeah.
Again, you popped hard for that, didn't you?
Yeah.
I mean, like there was a lot of characters that actually represented the moving trends within comic books and superhero.
Very happy there were like legitimately like LGBT romances in this film between Negasonic Teenage Warhead and Surge, and then also they kind of allude to Deadpool's kind of pansexuality as well.
Yeah, with like
obviously
his
it's a
love
sexual
affair with
harassment
Colossus.
lawsuit waiting, like where he kind of grabs Colossus, but again it's like. This is Deadpool has done in about when did the first one come out? Like 2 years ago.
It was about 2 years.
It has done in 2 years what Marvel haven't done in 10, which is like kind of strive for better representation in terms of like sexuality on screen, which is a major plus. So good on you.
But it was other things as well. There was a literal line saying, "When's the last time you saw a plus-size hero?"
Yes, as
Yeah.
well.
They literally are calling out the industry bullshit, as it were, and it's done in a really nice way because this isn't sort of like, oh, let's get on our horses and charge through, blah 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 blah. Sort of, if you want to use the fucking SJW term, whatever, that sort of thing. But this is basically just on the nose, just saying, hey, isn't it silly that we can't be like this normally?
Yes.
I mean, the closest Marvel have got to that is Chris Pratt getting called fat in Infinity War.
That's it.
You have put on some weight. What?
Yeah.
And even then, it's just kind of like, he's in shape. He's very much in shape. Like, what the hell, man? So yeah, in terms of the characters, I can't pick out a weak link because people who nobody overstayed their welcome.
Domino's the best.
Domino's wicked, yeah.
The only thing I'd say is that out of all of them, after the immediate hype of seeing him, maybe the Juggernaut was the weakest
that was
character.
cool.
Yeah, I liked him. I liked the surprise of just kind of like, oh wow, I kind of caught onto it when they were like bashing around. I was like, oh, I can't think of many big characters they could probably include with that.
Genuinely, I nearly leant over to you and said it and went, Fox can use the Hulk, can't they?
Yeah, I mean, that would have been
Technically.
great.
It's better than Jules' suggestion of Solomon Grundy.
Right, okay, they mentioned DC a lot in that film. Why wouldn't... I'm just saying, they could have had Solomon Grundy. He's a B-lister character. They could have just bought him out. I'm just saying. They could have done. It would have been great. Everyone would have been hyped. Anyway, it didn't happen.
If you just said that to me, I would have gone, oh yeah, maybe, yeah.
Yeah. I'll tell you who they should have done.
Mojo.
I know, no, you know who it should have been?
What?
It should have been Abomination.
Oh, from Hulk.
Because they never caught him and they never killed him, did they, in the other films?
In Hulk.
Yeah, it wasn't in like 2 films of him.
In The Incredible
owned
Hulk.
by Disney.
I was saying big. Wait, what?
Abomination in the Hulk.
Yeah, it's Marvel.
Smart. It's
Yeah. So I'm saying, why couldn't it have been him?
Because it's Fox.
So what?
So, do you not aware of the Fox?
Yeah, I know.
And that's our review of the Disney Fox merger.
No, I know, but it's not like that. It's not like Marvel haven't lent out their properties. I mean, we've just seen Spider-Man: Homecoming. I'm just saying it could have been. It could have been. It could have been anyone. It could have been f***ing Star-Lord.
You okay?
No, I'm just getting angry now because you guys are pointing out that I don't know who my f***ing Marvel characters are. Anyway, right, so that was our review of Jules's temper. So, in terms of the other characters, we had Domino, who was fantastic.
Love Domino.
Yeah, I thought that she was actually probably my favourite character of the entire movie.
Yeah, I think, what they do with her is probably the most interesting. I think there's probably going to be a lot of people go to see that and are quite disappointed by how little screen time Terry Crews and Rob Delaney get.
Yes.
Because they're both really good.
Yeah.
They're kind of cult in their own weird ways. And they're like, oh, they're part of the X-Force,
And
yeah!
they're just like, no.
Nah, gone.
Yeah.
Some of them I was happy to see churned out pretty quickly, though. Did not like Shatterstar.
Oh yeah. Oh, I mean, Alien and better. And
Yeah,
then
it's
he
just like, ooh, okay,
gets
cool,
helicoptered
cool.
to death. Even though I like Lewis Tan, but yeah, that's the other thing. I liked the really awkward scene where Deadpool. Because remember the gag from the first film where he loses his arm. And then it's like it grows back, and then in this one they had a really, really gruesome scene where his lower torso gets ripped in half by the Juggernaut.
I'm the Juggernaut and I'm going to rip you in half.
And then
literally does.
And then it's just he does that. Really, is it Fatal Attraction with Sharon Stone?
Yeah.
Oh,
the
it does the
Basic
yeah.
Instinct.
Yeah, Basic Instinct.
And gets to see his balls. They even say the guy even
His
says
shirt cocking
that's
it.
his basic instinct.
So there you go.
ridiculous.
If you ever want to see Ryan Reynolds pretend to be half child, and then
Well, he's baby legs from Rick and Morty.
That's it.
Yeah. There's literally a baby leg scene where he like stumbles across and he gives him a hug. It's so dumb. Action was great. The comedy when it hit was fantastic. can possibly criticise the fact that the story was a bit aimless until it sort of like really introduced its characters. It could have done that a bit quicker.
It ramps up quite quickly. Like once it gets going, it's very quick, but it takes a while to get
Think
to
of any other negatives?
that. Yeah.
TJ
Sure.
Miller.
Sorry?
And TJ Miller's character really obnoxious. And also the fact they shouldn't really, I don't really like.
TJ Miller's character
He
was.
plays the Deadpool, Wade's friend.
Oh
And
yeah,
it's like-
I feel like Dupinder basically replaces him.
yeah, Depender is much better.
Yeah, I feel like as soon as he came onto the scene and
It's
was
when he
like,
starts sprinting along with them at the very
Yeah,
final
yeah,
bit,
yeah.
and he's just there like, I'm going to
he
turn
had his own
around
little,
now.
he had
It's
his own little
brilliant.
character arc. That was
Yeah,
really nice.
yeah.
To just being like, I want to be a contract killer, and it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
okay.
I actually thought the torture scene between Cable was quite good.
Oh, that
That
was
was
He was like,
different.
first I'm going to bend something. He's like, I'm going to stab you there. You're not going to get to 2 because I hate pain so
There's
much.
a
I'll tell you
windshield
anything
factor
you want.
in effect.
I will tell you anything, and then he's just like, I get a nervous erection. Do not look at it. You make it worse. Like there were some funny moments with him, but
Yeah.
he was definitely one of the weaker links
Yeah.
in it. So that's pretty much it. It's a dumb but fun film. It's exactly what you want from a Deadpool film. Would we recommend seeing it? Yeah, of course we would.
yes.
Yeah, of course. There's something for everyone here. It's a family film, so you can take your kids. They
Yeah.
even mentioned that at the very beginning.
do.
Was anyone else surprised this was only a 15? Like, I was surprised
Yeah.
going in that it said 15. I was like, oh, well, maybe it's not that. And then after about an hour, I was like, how is this? We've had
There was-
beheadings, limbs getting chopped
The
off,
first one
dude
was a
got ripped in
15 as
half.
well. Yeah.
And a
Yeah,
bit-
but this felt more gruesome than that.
And I
one.
think they used their 2 or 3 big C bombs, didn't they?
Oh yeah, because there's a bit where a soldier says flipping at the end because they can't say another F
Oh
word.
yeah,
in
yeah,
there,
yeah,
so
yeah.
they're like, I'm gonna flip and get you, Deadpool.
And you know what? I am a big fan of swearing in real life. My mum always used to say, if you swear, then you're not clever enough to think of a good comeback to that. I say, F you, mum. And so what the thing is that the big payoff of the entire film is when Colossus swears for the first time.
Oh yeah.
That was lovely.
A little baby swear.
Yeah, when he just goes, he just
Say
goes,
f- with me.
he's like 1, 2, 3. Is that? And he's like, oh, you're gonna burn in hell there, Swamp Mouth.
Enjoy hell, this one.
So good. But anyway, yeah, definitely worth watching. We'd say. I mean, if we were to give it a rating out of 5, what would we give it?
4.5 X's.
Ooh, I give it 4. I think that it's still because I think that the first film was 4.5, and I would not put this on the same level.
I feel like I'm more positive on this film, but I would give it 3.5.
That's
But-
fair enough.
but
That's fair enough.
I'm a big believer in that, like the whole 5-star rating system gets skewed.
Yeah.
People think anything less than 4 is bad.
Yeah.
3.5 is way above average.
Yeah, 3.5's a good, better
Yeah.
than good. So
If I said
yeah.
it was 2.5, people were like,
Yeah.
oh, it's an awful
Yeah.
rating. I'd be
Yeah.
like, no, 2.5.
I mean, I
Take
was
your leave,
rating in
it's
terms of
50-50.
X-Forces. If it was out of stars, it probably would be like a 3.5.
3.5 stars, but 4
4
X-Forces.
X-Forces.
4 X-Forces
Yeah, yeah.
out of 5. Yeah, so there we go. Let us know down in the comment section below what you thought about the film and if you've checked it out. And as always, I've been Jules.
I've been Ewan. That is me.
I'm Adam. We are the W Force.
The WWWs, is that us? That does not look good.
No,
This is
no.
not a good logo to
No,
end on.
no.
It looks like we've got vagina force going on, right? Okay.
V Force.
Elbows! Anyway,
The
right.
people.
It'll be SJW Force in the comments in about 30 seconds.
Ah, bloody hell. Right, and on that note, we'll see you soon. Enjoy Suicide Squad.
Cheers.
Well done, you made it all the way to the end of the video. Now, I'm not just here to increase our market share with women aged 18 to 35, but to tell you to watch one of these other videos we've made that are probably quite good. So, go on, off you, that one or that one, they're both good. There you go.